Minnesota nurses were on the picket lines Thursday, including those who work at a level 1 trauma center here in the Northwest Metro. They are pushing for a new collective bargaining agreement. We get more now from Eric Nelson.
Shannon, nurses have been walking the picket lines all day at various Twin Cities area hospitals, including North Memorial Health here in Robbinsdale. There are many issues in play, but the main concern is workplace safety.
Nurses just aren't safe on the job anymore. They're getting injured, they're getting assaulted, and something needs to be done.
There's a lot more violence in here than you would think. We've had to confiscate guns and knives out of patients' and visitors' bags.
The Minnesota Nurses Association made their case as they marched with picket signs. They were vocal about getting better benefits, more staffing, and higher wages.
We are the nurses!
But a key question remains for nurses. Is management listening?
They're saying that they don't have the money to put in towards the things that we think we need. We think they do.
Meanwhile, hospital officials declined an on-camera interview request, but did tell CCX News that they have been negotiating with the nurses union since March. They say they are hopeful both sides can agree on a new contract soon. Now, the CBA is set to expire on June 1st. However, I have been told there will be no strike as long as negotiations continue. Reporting live in Robbinsdale, I'm Eric Nelson. Now let's go back to Shannon.
All right, thank you, Eric. City leaders from Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center met Thursday to discuss ways to reduce violent crime. Edinburgh, USA hosted a regional meeting of the organization Cities United, which is an initiative aimed at reducing violence in the African American community. City leaders say it's an issue that can't be solved by police alone.
Reducing violent crime in your communities, regardless of race, is something that's not just a police issue, that the police cannot arrest their way out of problems, right? So you need your park and rec department, you need your community development, you need to find everyone to help address the core issues that lead to violent crime.
Brooklyn Park officials say they are working on strategies to help promote economic inclusion, such as providing reliable public transportation to connect people to jobs. People of all faiths came together at the Northwest Islamic Community Center in Plymouth Wednesday night for an interfaith iftar.
So this is an opportunity for the mosque here just to invite the local community in, just to share a breaking fast dinner with all of our neighbors.
The mosque holds the event for the community every year during their holy month of Ramadan. In light of the recent attacks on houses of worship, mosque leaders say they take security at their Plymouth location very seriously.
And we feel very much a part of the community. We have a lot of support from neighbors, from the city of Plymouth, as well as the police department. However, in addition, we do take some precautions.
Some of the precautions include security cameras and increased security for special events. Robbinsdale Area Schools has named a Golden Valley Middle School teacher as its Teacher of the Year. Billy Pace Grochik-Melson teaches life and earth science at Sandburg Middle School. Pace Grochik-Melson says she's honored and humbled by the recognition. Sandburg Principal John Grenke says the true winners of the award are the students who have her as their teacher. Today's standout student shines under the bright lights, and we mean that literally. Neil Persley introduces us to Nick Torgerson of West Lutheran High School.
My favorite thing to do at school would probably have to help with setting up the technical stuff for the plays and the concerts.
Meet graduating senior Nick Torgerson from West Lutheran High School. Yes, he excels in all of his classes.
My favorite classes academically are probably BC Calculus and Physics.
What makes Nick special is his ability to take those complex concepts out of a textbook and apply them in his everyday life, solving real-world problems.
His senior quote in the yearbook that just came out was, "I have an idea, ... which I think has been really descriptive of the different program involvement that he's had in here. He has an idea, or we have an idea collectively, and then he just runs with it and makes things happen.
Nick's involvement at school doesn't end at setting things up on the technical side.
In addition to just acting in the plays and performing the concerts in the band, band and the choir. I also act as the lighting designer, so I deal with anything that has to do with setting up the lights or designing a light plot or calling companies to get the rentals, and then eventually programming the light board so someone can control it during the show, because I can't control it because I'm usually in the stuff that I work on.
It is not an exaggeration to say that West Lutheran will miss Nick after his graduation, but he's looking forward to a future that shouldn't surprise you.
I'm going to Purdue University next year for first-year engineering, and then I get to choose an engineering major. I'm currently thinking of engineering, theater engineering, which is like a unique major they have there.
Needless to say, Nick has a very bright future. From West Lutheran High School in Plymouth, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Some second-grade students in Brooklyn Park are getting a head start on becoming future entrepreneurs. The young learners at Maranatha Christian Academy received some hands-on experience on what it's like to start a business and market a product. The students worked together to pick and make a product and then come up with a price for it. Students also learned how to advertise. They came up with some creative ideas: jewelry out of pipe cleaners, colorful lunch bags, and flower puppets.
You can play with it with your friends, and they would probably make good decorations, besides, like if you took the puppet part off.
It's an effort to teach them how to make a product and how to learn how to sell it and how to advertise it, so that they kind of understand more about the real world market.
During the semester, students also had to produce 30 other unique products. And you can see this story and more stories like it on our website, ccxmedia.org.
Hopkins and Wayzata baseball teams figure to be top contenders for the Section 6 4A title. First things first, they met up at Hopkins High School with the Lake Conference title on the line. Top of the first, 2-on, 2-out, Wayzata's Ben Leutner comes through with a clutch hit to score Brennan Albert, and the Trojans are on the board. Top of the fourth, Wayzata adds 2 more. Cullen Stamp slices a 2-out hit to score Joe Gershala, and it's 3-1. Bottom of the fifth, Hopkins cuts the lead to 1. Jake Perry strokes the hit to bring around Parker Johnson, and it's 3-2. Top of the sixth, runner on third, and the Trojans work a squeeze play nicely. Stamp puts down the bunt. Jet Delorier scores, and it's a 4-2 Wayzata lead. Albert leads off the seventh for the Trojans, and the first pitch he sees is gone for a solo home run. That seals the win for Wayzata, and the Trojans. The Royals share the Lake Conference title. Section play begins Friday for Hopkins and next Tuesday for Wayzata. While some playoff softball games scheduled for Wednesday were postponed because of wet fields, it was play on for some teams. That included Champlin Park hosting Irondale in round 2 in Section 5 4A. Champlin Park gets one in the bottom of the first. Abby Gilk with a single to right to score Holly Blaska, and it's 1-0 Rebels after 1. Gilk delivers a single to right field. Blaska with a hit scoring Hannah Noah, and Champlin Park has a 2-0 lead. Piper Otto looking to keep it that way. She gets a swinging strikeout right there, and then Otto has the hitter off balance here. Slow roller, and she'll get 2 and flip to first for the out, and stays 2-0 through 6 innings. Irondale, though, doesn't quit in the seventh. A liner just over Alyssa Blaska. 2-run score in the play, and the Knights, with that one swing, tie it up. But Champlin Park has the last word. Bottom of the seventh, Alyssa Blaska with a hit to right to score Gilk, who had doubled. The Rebels celebrate a 3-2 win. They'll play the winner of Thursday's Osseo Maple Grove game on Friday afternoon. Memorial Day weekend is upon us, and that means it's time to crank up our summer series of fishing tips with Terry Tuma. Terry has been with us for 29 years now, and here's his first tip for 2019.
Welcome to another series of open water tips right here on CCX Media. We have the bass opener, the official opener that is, starting or beginning this Saturday. And there's going to be some tools that we can use to help us catch more fish. I have a lot of questions about location. It's going to be very dependent on, are these fish going to be in the spawn or the post-spawn period, all relating to water temperature. Some of the baits and lures that we should consider using, one is going to be spinner baits, again, a very productive type of a bait. And then too, if you got a little tougher bite, do consider going to plastic. It could be Texas ring, it could be tubes, it can be jig worms, and then of course too, we should never ever forget about crankbaits. Crankbaits do not only work in warm water temperatures. In fact, anything above 40-some degrees, they can be extremely productive. First of all, we have to select the crankbait that's going to match the condition of these fish. So in other words, dark water, you want more vibration, probably going to be a little bit larger profile. And then two, in clear water, you want to go to a non-rattle crankbait and one that's going to have a little bit more tight vibration or wobble, if you will. Always when you're using crankbaits, do work with the different sizes. You know, say if you're fishing in 10 feet of water, starting out maybe running a crankbait 2 feet, 3 feet below the surface, and then drop down in styles with lift design and with depth control all the way till you connect with bass or till you hit the bottom content. And what we have to also understand, bass do relate to cover and docks and rocks. So those are going to be the main ingredients for us to be successful, not only on opening bass weekend, but throughout the whole open water period. Have a great opener fishing for bass.
Thanks, Terry. That is all for sports. More news in a moment.